Okay, so today's lesson, we went over identifying the graphs of situations. It is the first lesson in Module 3, Topic 3. So the students just tore out this lesson out of their workbook. So we're going to be looking at different situations, so basically word problems, and trying to figure out how to represent them as a graph. So the graphs that we're going to be using are on page 171 and on page 173. The situations that we're going to be using are on page 175, 177, and 179. And this is designed to be used as a matching activity. Kind of a very involved, a lot of critical thinking matching activity. But if you do not want to do the cutting and gluing, that is fine. You can for sure, you see how the letters, there's a letter on the top left corner of each graph. You can just write that letter next to each situation, so you have the letters right there. There is one situation that I want you to either do last or you don't have to do it at all. It's kind of like a challenge problem. It's this pool party on page 173. You can just match it up with whatever graph is left, or you can just decide not to do it. That's up to you. So for your example, we're going to be looking at this fish tank problem. When you go to each situation, you need to mark the text. So that helps you pick out that key information, helps you solve word problems. It's just a process to just help you out. So we do this quite a bit in class, so you should be pretty familiar with it. We're going to highlight important information. We're going to circle key words, and those are action words that tell us usually what operation to do or indicate a direction. And lastly, we're going to bracket what it's asking us to do. So, a fish tank. So, the fish tank problem. You are draining a 200-gallon fish tank at a rate of 10 gallons per minute. How much water remains in the tank at a specific time? So, you should pause the video right now and try to mark this yourself, and then check it with my work. So, if I were going to mark this, I would probably highlight that there's a 200-gallon fish tank. The rate is 10 gallons per minute. I would circle the key term draining that indicates that the level's going down in the tank, the water level's going down, and also this word rate. The rate tells us that it's dropping at like a constant speed. So, I would bracket, so usually what it's telling us to do, what it's asking us to do, is the question at the end. Not always, but most of the time. So how much water remains in the tank at a specific amount of time? So we're looking for a graph that indicates how much water is left over after time goes on. So something I do want to mention out is that when something's a constant rate, it ends up being a straight line, so either diagonal, horizontal, or vertical. So we're looking for a graph that is draining, so the water level is going down, and it's a straight line. So let's go ahead and go up to our graphs. The graphs are right above this. On page 173, we have 2 graphs, and on page 171, we have 4 graphs. And these are the graphs we're using for all of these different situations. So out of these 4 right here, I see one that is a straight line that indicates our rate. So this is a straight line C. But it is not draining. If we read a graph from left to right just like a book, we see that as time goes on the bottom, 0 to 20 minutes, 20 seconds, whatever the situation indicates, the water level is actually going up. And that is not what we were looking for this situation. I don't see any other straight lines on this page. So we know that none of these graphs right here match that situation. So going down to page 173, we see two straight lines, and that is exactly what we want when we have a rate, is a straight line, constant rate. And if we read the graphs from left to right, we see that only one is going down, is draining. It's starting high, the water level higher, and it's decreasing as time goes on. So our answer for this fish tank problem is F. So going down to the fish tank problem, you can either cut out that graph and glue it right here in this box, or you can simply write that this problem belongs to graph F. Now go through and try these other situations, please. You're marking the text. You're matching it with each graph using your logic and the information that each situation gives you. So you are doing rainy day, and these are the ones that the kids did in class. You are doing toy rocket and DVD and game rental on page 177. And lastly, you are doing t-shirt sales on page 179. And this lesson is long. The whole thing is probably going to take us about 3 class periods. And next class, we are going to learn about independent and dependent variables. So that is learning goal number number 4 and number 5. And those are also our key terms. So looking at these key terms every time, just try to see what words need to stand out to you, and looking at these learning goals every class to see exactly what information is the most important. All right. Thank you for watching.